Anyway, Halo Infinite, they put out a multiplayer focused tech test, and for the majority of the time, it was just players versus bots. And when the thing first launched, it was just one map, and so most of the time I spent playing it, it only had one map available. So I kind of got 5 or 6 matches in there. I think it seems pretty cool, and I wonder if Halo fans like it. I need to go look and see. Like, I don't know what the wide reaction to it has been, because I came to it feeling like, wow, they've really continued in this direction. I feel like since 343 kind of took the ship, and Bungie went off to go do Bungie things, Halo has moved in a direction where they're like trying to make it a little bit faster, a little bit snappier, a little bit more, which then gets perceived as a little bit more Call of Duty-esque. And this feels like it is maybe the furthest in that direction. And so it's an interesting set of changes, and people in the chat are now saying that they are Halo fans who love it, which is interesting, because I feel like the last several years have been people saying, like, I can't believe they're making this more like Call of Duty. Why are they ruining Halo? And to me, this feels like they finished it. They finished the transition into making it like Call of Duty, and people seem to be way into it. Which, okay, that's cool. It feels good. The movement is snappy. At the same time, the time to kill and the general kind of, I feel like, movement and floatiness that you kind of expect from a Halo game is still there. And so it's like they're kind of splitting the difference there, and I think it, for me personally, I think it's like I'm more excited about it than I was with the past couple of Halo multiplayer games. And it's like a 4v4. You know, obviously, I think the full game is going to have, it'll have vehicles, it'll have the bigger maps. So like that's the stuff I really want to see, because that's going to be where Halo lives, right? Is let's jump in this Warthog and go cause trouble. And then by the end of the weekend, they actually opened up actual player versus player multiplayer, not just the bots. They turned on a new playlist for a few hours just to let people actually play against each other. I really wish I was around for that, because I would have loved to have seen how that went, because the bots were fine, and eventually they turned up the difficulty of the bots, and the bots were adequate, and like, okay, yeah, these bots can kill you, that's for sure, and stuff like that. But it just felt like very tight maps, like the 2 maps that I played on, Live Fire, and I forget the name of the second one. These tight 4v4 maps, and just really snappy action. Like it felt pretty good across the board. And I definitely came away from it going like, yeah, the core of this seems sound. I want to see what they do with the larger maps and all that sort of stuff, and the vehicles and all that, like to see when they turn it into full Halo, like what is that kind of. So I think the thing to remember is that Halo multiplayer is going to be free. Oh
yeah,
as a separate product from the campaign. And so that test was, it had a battle pass in it. It had plenty of opportunities for cosmetics and spots for cosmetics that are just like stuff that they really haven't done with Halo before, like, announcers, and they've give you a little AI buddy, which I don't know if you actually ever see the AI buddy in game, but it has its own unique shape. And then that AI buddy talks. It's like kind of, it's doing the map control stuff that people back in the Quake days used to have to keep in their head. Like, hey, in 20 seconds, that rocket launcher is going to spawn. So I need to run this loop and go do this and go do this. And go do
cool.
This. Like it's literally like, and you'll see icons pop up like, hey, in 20 seconds, a sniper rifle is going to spawn here. And so your AI will be like, oh, the sniper rifle's coming soon. Like that type of stuff. And some of the different voices have different attitudes and tones of voice and stuff.
And answer backs, common.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So you can configure that. And so, yeah, assuming that they do full packs for that sort of stuff. So I only played on PC. I didn't see what it ran like on console. And I will grant you that my PC is, I spent a lot of money on stuff. And so I ran it on a 3090 and it seemed to run fine. You can set the max and minimum frame rate and stuff like that. I see some people saying that they had trouble with it, but that ran fine for me. So
But like nothing to write home about graphically.
No, not really.
Did the job.
But it's always hard to tell because, again, with the map size, the maps being as small as they are, you're like, oh, that's a really good looking Spartan. It's a really neat looking texture here, or this map here, or the way this weapon fires, or when you zoom in with this scope, the scope view is cool. Like you get a sense of the art and the fidelity of the art. You go like, this looks nice. I like what they're doing tonally. I like and even the music, I think, plays into that. I think like the music in that thing, there's not a ton of it, but it updates the kind of Halo stuff, I think, in some nice ways as well, that kind of helps contribute to just the overall presentation. But they've done Battle Pass stuff in the Master Chief Collection for a while now, and they do it a little bit differently, where the Battle Passes don't expire. So you, instead of like having 90 days to unlock all the stuff, and they're like, you didn't get to the top level, go F yourself. Like they keep that stuff in there, and so you'll be able to acquire multiple battle passes and work on them all kind of.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I guess simultaneoly, or it's like when you level up, you choose which reward you want. I think is how it works in Master Chief Collection. It's been a while since I looked at that. A bunch of story stuff leaked out because some cutscene descriptions were in the files, and so I have not seen that stuff. I would not be opposed to seeing it because I'm not like a big spoiler averse person, but that stuff is out there.
Oh, look, they found the story. It was buried in the code the whole time.
I think it's johnkeyparty.avi was the file.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So, so I guess, people probably need to be aware of that for the next handful of months, because that stuff's going to be kicking around. I have not seen the story, so I don't know what it is, but it's hard to imagine. Like, it's John Halo goes and finds a new Halo and then shoots a bunch of stuff, right? Like I'm hoping that there's big new enemy factions and all this other stuff, because I feel
finish
like
the fight, Jeff.
Yeah, and also you finish the fight. Yes.
Oh boy.
There's also I think there's like voice lines that from the announcer that were hidden in there that was relating to Battle Royale. So
yes.
Kind of pop back up again.
Battle Royale. Yeah. We'll
chicken dinner.
Yeah. What does Master Chief get when he wins? You win, and now your suit's gonna suck you off. Like, what's the voice lines there?
Jesus.
That's canon. Fuck, it's not actually canon.
I believe you.
But it's people people assume that there was something in a book, or people maybe just made that whole thing up. I never actually did track down the origins of it, but for the longest time, there was very much the suit jacks him off. It just does that. It's just you're a Master Chief locked in his suit. Like, of course you're gonna have needs. Of course they're gonna do this.
He's not locked in there. He's locked in there.
Yeah.
I mean, they update the suit from time to time. Can Master Chief survive outside the suit? That's a question. Like, or do they need to put him in a fucking Vegeta tank when they're replacing his armor? I don't know. I don't want to know. Like that's there are some franchises where I want to know all the lore, and some franchises where the games are fine for me. Like Balan Wonderworld is a great example of this. I love Balan Wonderworld, the video game, and the story there is enough. I don't need it to
you don't need to know how Balan gets jacked off.
Exactly. No, I see it. It's the Tims.
I didn't know. I mean, it's not a surprise that the conversation around John Halo would devolve into how's this guy getting off, right? Like, I understand that's like a logical
I think it just
question.
like it made its way around the internet long enough that people started taking it as fact, that it was like that was in one of the books somewhere. Because I think the books went so far down so many rabbit holes of like child soldier this and that like, does the suit crank him off? Like, I guess, I don't know, maybe.
Oh, you thought the Flood was like a bunch of little like slime aliens?
Yeah, that's what happens if he doesn't. You got to make sure he's getting drained, because otherwise it's a flood.
Jesus, Danny.
I would love to see, this finally be the time that just a lot of different Microsoft franchises work their way into, because this multiplayer is now, I think we were just talking about it last week, right? That like all multiplayer in free-to-play games or season-based games all trend toward absolute ridiculousness.
Okay.
Because they have to sell skins and keep selling skins. And they're like, I don't know, anime. I don't know. What about a Rob Dyrdek skin? Let's go. Like just they keep pushing in that direction. So
what do you want? You get the Forza car in the
I want
the
a Bloodwake. I want a Warthog Bloodwake skin. Make it look like a boat from Bloodwake. I want my cameo.
Ooh.
I want to look like a cameo.
Blinks
in
the time sweeper.
Oof.
What is what a Sea of Thieves pirate boat person? I don't know. Yeah,
The rich lore of the Microsoft universe.
yes,
all
yeah,
coming
exactly.
together.
Yes, that car
It
from
goes on.
Forza. You got Forza in there. Anyway, that's I think Halo seems cool. And I hope the campaign is good. I feel like they did a lot. They spent a lot of time over these past couple of games setting up a ton of stuff about how Cortana is sick in the head now and we've got to save her. But I have not seen the leaked story stuff, but I don't know that I don't think the story necessarily hinges on all of that stuff. I could be wrong, but that's, I was made to understand that was maybe not the focus of the game going forward, but I don't know. I don't know where they're at with it.
They've beaten that drum, and it was always like a poor man's showdown anyway. So just move on. Do something else.
Yeah. Yeah. Rampant Cortana. I feel like that's something you just resolve and keep moving, right? You're like, oh, we got her back. Great. Or we killed her and great. Either way.
Patched her.
Either works.